Hey everybody, welcome to In the Garden with Matt the Garden Guy. Yes, I'm inside, but that's because it's winter outside and this is my indoor garden. Hey, just because it's cold outside here in Wisconsin where I'm located doesn't mean I cannot grow. I grow all year long. I have my growing lights right here. I have my greenhouse that helps me out. I have my trays, I have my dirt. Everything that I need to grow, I have indoor and I can grow inside. I do it all the time. I even use techniques called hydroponic. I have water, just water, no dirt. I got my plant, you see right here, strawberries. I got strawberries growing right now. I got these clay pebbles that mimic the soil, kind of to help keep the structure of the plant in there. And I have a secret ingredient in here. It's not really secret, it's just the awesome fertilizer that I use. I use this awesome fertilizer. You can use this for your hydroponic. You can also use it when you have your trays here and just put it right on top of it. I'll have a link for this in the description of this video. If you don't remember or if you don't know, do not put fertilizer on newly seeded seeds. You want to wait at least 3 to 4 weeks after they've germinate to fertilize them. But for the hydroponic system, I go and put it in here, and that's what gives it its nutrients. So super awesome. See, a lot of the roots are growing in there. This is a really good technique. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of In the Garden with Matt the Garden Guy. This will be talking about my indoor gardening. Right now, I'm just going over some of my flower seeds here. I got multiple different flowers that I like to grow outside of my garden. And I typically start mine at about the end of January, early February. Flowers typically take quite a while to germinate and to be nice and tall when I put them outside. So, like I said, yeah, I start them around this time, around end of January, early February. Worst case, your flowers end up growing and you can't put them outside yet, hey, at least you have something to put inside. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm also going to be planting some of my herbs, rosemary, thyme. That stuff takes quite a while to germinate and to get pretty big. Hey, so one area I'm going to first start talking to you guys about is my onions that I'm growing right now. So those onions aren't meant for my indoor garden, but I utilize my indoor garden for my onions that I'm growing. So let's go check it out. Hey, so one of those tasks that we need to do, it's not for our indoor garden, but it's for our outside garden, but we are starting them right now, is our onions. We need to start thinning out our onions right here. So we're gonna take these and we're gonna pull them out and we're gonna make them so we have 1 onion per cell. So like I said, this isn't part of our indoor gardening, but we use our indoor gardening to help us for our summer and spring gardening. So again, I'm going to take my onions, all my onions here where I have multiple of them coming out, because when I plant these, I typically plant 3 seeds just to make sure I do get some that germinate. You can see some of the cells I didn't get any, so I'm glad I did plant. So I'm going to go ahead and thin them down to only having 1 per cell, and we'll see how it looks. There you go, just like that. I have them all thinned out to 1 per cell. Now I have some that haven't popped up yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna put the seed in there that is supposed to be in there. So this row right here is missing a bunch, and these are the Texas ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple more than I normally do just to make sure I know they pop up. So I'm just gonna pop them in there. And I'm gonna just fill out the rest wherever I need to get the seeds in. There we go, and just like that, I have my onions thinned out, and I have new onion seeds in the trays, or in the cells here, that onions didn't pop up. It's gotta get a little bit of dirt on top of them, and the cells that I put the seeds in. And there we go. Now we're gonna go in and throw them back here in the greenhouse. I'm gonna look at them while they're out, make sure I don't need any water in them. Yeah, I do need some water, so I'm gonna go get some water and put it in there. All right, so I got the water. So some people might just pour them right on top of this. I don't do that because it disrupts the seeds. It's best to water it so it gets the water from the bottom. So I just lift up the corner here and dump the water in. And now we're feeding the roots in the bottom of the seed trays. So that's a really good tip to do. Now we gotta go put it in here. Alrighty, now that's it. Now I got my onions going. Onions take a very long time, so hopefully I get some onions this year. Next, let's go check out my hydroponic system that I've been working on. All right, so my hydroponic. So what I use is I use these mason jars. These are pint mason jars. They seem to fit these plastic cups that I use really well. They just pop right in there. So I started this about a couple weeks ago. I started growing my vegetables, in this case this lettuce. I started growing it in a small plastic tray like this, just like how I start all my stuff. And as it got a little bit bigger, I moved it into a tray like this, or a little cup like this. And as soon as it was big enough, as soon as it was big in this, I knew at that time it was time to transport it into this. Why don't you go check out the video I did with this a couple weeks ago. There you go. So a couple weeks after putting the lettuce into the hydroponic system, we see all the roots exploding in here. So when transplanting this into the mason jars, go ahead and grab it out. And we want to retain these roots. So we're going to go over to the sink and wash them off. So we're just going to rinse off and get all the dirt off the roots. Then you have something that looks like this. Almost all the dirt's off of it. Try to get almost all of it as much as you can. And now we're going to go ahead and put this in our mason jar. So what I'm using are these clay pebbles. They're organic clay pebbles, and I'm using these plastic pots and then a mason jar. So now what we want to do is we want to grab what we're putting in, and we're going to want to put this probably about a quarter of this down below the pebbles. So I'm just going to grab the pebbles and dump them in and kind of set it around it. I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple more pebbles and just pop them in there. Kind of just push them in there to kind of get it firmly set in there. So now when we take this out, we should have some of the roots on the bottom and pop it right in there. Hey, one thing to know about these clay pebbles, they're supposed to mimic the soil. So kind of plant them the way they would be when they're in the ground. So yeah, that's how I put that in my hydroponic system here. So what am I using for this? Like I said, I'm using these quart mason jars. I'm using these little plastic cups. What I do is, you see here, I cut the bottom out of it. It's so when I put it in there, the root can go right through pretty easily. Then I use these clay pebbles. These seem to work really, really good. They're really, they're clay. So on the bag, it says it's pH stable, so that means that this is never going to affect the pH level of our plants. They provide very good drainage, right? So it's not dirt, it's not absorbing any of the water. And what it really does too is it kind of, I guess in my mind, it kind of mimics the soil or the ground, and it keeps that plant in there sturdy. It's going to help those roots grow really well too. So now that I have this, so you look at these awesome roots here. That's amazing. So I have this is a lettuce. I have my lettuce in here, in the pebbles, in this plastic cup here, I just got regular water in here. Then the secret sauce that I'm using is I'm using this organic vegetable plant nutrition. So this is going to be, this is going to give it all of its nitrogen, potassium, phosphates, everything it needs to grow. I'm using an organic fertilizer, and basically it's a powder. So pretty small right here, comes with a little tiny scooper right here. And basically just read the instructions, do what it says. So I'm just using, I don't have it here. I'm just using a little tiny spray bottle. And I put what it says to put in there. And you gotta let it, this stuff, you gotta let it set for about 15 minutes before you apply it. So then what I do is I just pour a little bit in here. You can see some of it on the bottom right here. That's about it. I saw a massive growth improvement by using this fertilizer. So I got a multiple different things. This is some broccoli growing. One thing about hydroponics is you're not gonna be able to grow anything that's like a root. Anything that grows below the soil, they're not gonna grow they're not gonna really grow in the hydroponic. You need anything that's above ground. So I have lettuce, I have kohlrabi, I have some broccoli, and then this is one of the coolest things that I'm doing right now is my strawberries. So these strawberry plants were outside. I grow a lot of strawberries. I have two really large strawberry patches, and I went outside about probably three weeks ago, and I went out and just grabbed them out of the ground and popped them in here. The amount of growth I had within a couple weeks was crazy, mind-blowing. And then just earlier this week, I noticed I'm getting some flowers on there. So I'm hoping in a couple days I should start seeing a strawberry grow on here. That will be amazing. A few other things I'm gonna grow in here are tomato. So I start my tomato plant, again, out in my pots here. I'm probably gonna transport this into one of these, probably this week. I want it to be pretty big, and typically you wanna have three sets of leaves on them, so I have 1, 2, 3 before you transplant them. I'm gonna do some of my basil. So I have a really good basil plant growing right there. So I got my third leaf coming in right there. As soon as that guy gets a little bit bigger, I'm gonna throw that in the hydroponic system as well. And like I said, I just got some more broccoli, a couple other things. So I'm gonna be putting them in this I'm gonna be putting them in the hydroponic system here. There are other ways of doing hydroponics. Some people use 5-gallon containers with a motor on it to constantly move the water. I mean, for me, I don't have that much time. This is very, very easy, quick, simple. You can see it. I mean, I fill these things up with water every couple days. Very basic. It's pretty much maintenance free, and they'll grow some good stuff. So again, if you want to do your hydroponic, you want to have, probably a pint-sized mason jar. You want these plastic cups. You want your clay pebbles. And like I said, I recommend this plant fertilizer. I'll have all of this on my Amazon store, so you can order it right from there. I'll have the link in the description of this video. One last thing I noticed, a lot of my plants needed some more water, so I'm just gonna give them a little bit of a drink, fill them up, and then we'll be good to grow, man. Hey, something else I wanted to show you. Super easy to do. Grab one of these flat trays. You see right here, I got a bunch of lettuce growing. So in about probably 4 to 6 weeks, I'll be able to eat this lettuce. And I got some awesome microgreen cilantro. This stuff grows really fast. It's amazing. It tastes awesome. Oh yeah, good stuff. And like I said, I got all my different types of lettuce here. I have some romaine lettuce, mixed lettuce, and I can't read my tag, just like a blend lettuce right here. Like I said, in about probably 4 to 6 weeks, we'll be eating this lettuce. And like I said, in the back here, It's pretty hard to see. Let me zoom up a little bit here. So in the back right here, those are all the plants that I have for my hydroponic system. Got my growing lights got my growing lights right here. You can order these on my Amazon page too. Again, that link will be in the description. Got my greenhouse here with my growing lights. Greenhouse, you guessed it, it's on my Amazon page. Everything that I use it, and I tell you guys about it if I like it. So everything on my page I use and I support. So go check it out. So that's about it. What's going on in my indoor garden right now? I'm probably going to be growing a couple more things here soon, but we got probably about a couple more months until we can start growing outside. So I might start growing all my seeds here in about a month. I'll keep you guys up to date. If you live in the zone 5 or 6 or 4, you could probably follow my same schedule. If you live outside of those zones, just follow your schedule. The more south you are, you could probably start all your tomatoes and all those other good stuff in maybe mid-February, late February. If you're higher than me, so northern Wisconsin, Minnesota on that, you're gonna wanna wait probably until late February, early March before you start planting all those seeds. But hey, I'll have videos to help you guys out on that stuff. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video on In the Garden with Matt the Garden Guy. It's not typically my outside gardening, but I got my indoor gardening here. Hey, next video, who knows, I might have my greenhouse, my bigger greenhouse I'm building outside. Yes, I am working on a outdoor greenhouse. You might be saying, man, you're crazy. It's February, or sorry, it's January, and it's cold. Yeah, it's cold, the ground's gonna be a little hard, but I think I can get it done. My goal is to have my greenhouse done in about 3 to 4 weeks, and then I can start planting my stuff outside. I'm hoping by the end of February. So last year I started my garden outside at about mid-March, end of March. I'm hoping to bump everything up a month. So hey, stay tuned and we'll see how the progress goes. Hey, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel or follow me. If you also could please give me a thumbs up, I greatly appreciate that. Hey, and until next time, keep growing, and I'll talk to you later.